How significant is Deepseek's approach to AI in terms of the cost efficiency and the resources optimization? And could this model redefine the industry standard?
Well, it is significant, of course, and how they were able to do it. And it's not born yesterday, it's born a couple of years back, but now we're seeing the output. How it was able to cut down the hardware cost first by 90%, better performance by 30 folds. The mentality of the thinking is different. And most importantly, what they did, and this is where the smart move, is they gave it as an open source model. So it's much cheaper, much better to a certain point, as they claim, because I've tried it personally. I'm still not convinced yet. But according to the white paper, and I've been using it for the last 3 days, it is something to be looked at because it's very specific at this point of time. It's not like if you open ChatGPT and then you try to prompt it the same, it's not going to give you what you are actually expecting because it's trained on for certain thinking, certain ideas, for math, for computer science, it's not multimodal as at this point. So we have the advantage today, OpenAI have the full advantage, but what it has redefined is the cost of doing such a thing and then how we can build on this for the future, for the American companies, actually not just the American companies, for the global companies to start innovating. So if a nation today, look at the old European nation, if today they want to start innovation, they can kickstart from this and then jump directly on board. And this will help our region. We have in our region Falcon, which has done the same, but it didn't take that much of the news headlines, if you want to call it, because it's an American-Chinese political thingy that's happening.
I like the term political thingy. I like that. But how do you see, what do you make of Trump's statements? And do you think they might have an impact on the markets? I think there might have been a little bit of a bounce back today already.
The market has lost extensively yesterday, especially in the AI sector, especially NVIDIA. I think this is the biggest loss. We had some news from China also that they have tested satellite internet communication 10 times better than Elon Musk's Starlink. Does that mean Starlink will fail? It's not this way. But how we're gonna enhance, and then putting $600 billion as an investment last week after the inauguration as part of becoming the capital world of AI. This is going to redefine things of the value and the expensive investments that they were thinking about and how they're going to dominate the world versus the other nations, because you cannot kill innovation in the world. If we specify 1.5 billion people in China, unfortunately, innovation at its best, the determination is at its best. So we have a huge competition. But Trump, you know him, today he spoke positively on this, that's good that they've done it, we can learn from it. But you never know tomorrow what executive order he will order so that he can block them further for not accessing newer models. Those models or the hardware that they actually trained on is made in 2023. So they're technically 2 years plus old technology. But they were able to do it in a much better way. So this redefines the question, how much are they gonna, change the huge versus the world, and now we have a second largest investment, which is happening in Saudi Arabia, but it's not nearly touching the base of what's knowing. And again, most importantly, this is not the first time that we see something that is blooming. I just mentioned a satellite, and then we have Huawei doing it again. We have TMC Semiconductors. We have Fortinet, which is an American-Chinese background, similar to TikTok. So innovation is always there. The American people, especially the politicians and the political stance, has to try to redefine what do they really want and how they can aid the world and not use it as part of ours and only us and supremacy and so on, so that we can really collaborate globally and have global partners and adopt those foster innovations, if you want to call it, across the globe.
And you mentioned NVIDIA there, and they're experiencing a record $465 billion market loss. Is the US AI model sustainable, especially when they rely heavily on the high-cost infrastructure?
At this point of time, this has proved that it's not. But again, I'm still skeptic a little bit of how DeepSeek is gonna evolve, because at this point of time, with all of the testing and the benchmarks that we are reading, I didn't find it near as equal to those that are available. I'm not just talking about OpenAI. We have Claude, we have so many other models there. But the way they have done it, this is what is possibly gonna change the way we're gonna work. Now, when we hear that with 90% less hardware, this is what impacted NVIDIA. This is the reality. When I can spend 90% less on hardware, so imagine $600 billion, now I'm gonna spend $100 billion. So this is the actual impact, the investments, and all of those shareholders, they're gonna start questioning, if somebody else did it in a better way and much cheaper, why those companies that we already invested in, are they asking for that much? And of course, when DeepSeek mentioned the $5.5 million cost, it's not a realistic cost, because there's a lot of hidden research over the last 2 years, the hardware cost, there's so many other costs, and for them to reach today. But maybe the last version costed them $5.5 million, and similarly, we don't know. Let's wait and see what Sam Altman has in his, in his sleeves, another possibly a rabbit, because he's also mentioning a lot of times there's something happening this year. So let's see if the American dominance again will come back, maybe adopting Chinese models, maybe adopting other models. But this is, of course, going to change how they're going to be training the models. And even the way the mentality of these models think and execute things is a bit different than the traditional that we got used to. But it's an aha moment for the American politicians at this point of time. So let's see how this will fold. And hopefully in a business perspective competition, not in a political perspective competition.